Welcome, congregation, to the Church of the Utter Wrong-uns. Welcome to a Sunday evening sermon. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to go on for this evening. The Master Toolmaker's son is in the kirk. Oh, I say, what oh? Yeah. And what a tool. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about politics and the general election. And we're going to talk about idiots and Father's Day and what else we're going to talk. I've got some very interesting things for you. I don't know whether you know of something called the Zinoviev letter, which a bit of a political education for you. But, well, it's a bit like a political black swan event. Going to tell you more about that later. We're going to talk about Catherine, Princess of Wales, because, well, I have a theory. I do. And it's not what you think it is either. I know there's lots of stuff being promulgated on social media, but this is actually quite serious, and it's got nothing to do with her health. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. But I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Let's get to some of your comments, and please feel free if you need to have one eye on the BBC this evening for the next couple of hours. I don't mind at all. If you are a newbie to the Theatre of the Mind and the Church of the Utter Wrong-uns, and that's not just the choir boy or the Reverend, then please let me know in the chat. I mean, I'm pointing over there because that's where my screen is. So please let me know if you're a newbie, and what I will do, I will your cherry get as a freebie, because I'm that kind of guy. So please let me know if you're a newbie to the kirk, the body of the kirk, and welcome everyone. Please budge up, because we're trying to get as many in as possible tonight. I'm hoping we get over 100, if we're lucky. Because I do understand that the core audience is here this evening might not be wanting to watch something else, but if you are on Two Girls and a Cat. Oh, hang on. Who's that? Oh, no, two gits in a car. It's pronounced Z. You don't spell it like that, do you? Yes, well, don't give the game away. It's much better if it's a surprise. And we've got plenty of stuff this evening. We're going to talk about Charlie 19, because obviously we still use code words here. We're going to talk about the ceasefire that is about to happen in Ukraine. Oh, you missed that, did you? Oh, well, there you go. Mainstream media for you. Bunch of arse. So let's get to your messages. That's how it's said, two gits in a car. Thank you very much. To Lily Bell. Hello. Hello, Lily Bell. You can consider your cherry well and truly popped. And Karina Jane, I know you're not a first time. Hi, Adrian and all. I know it's not your first time, Karina, but I'll still give you one. Just a little one. That's an age thing. Who's that? Oh, Bovril. Evening, the bells and the belfry with the ice, soda, water and mixers. Oh, really? Oh, Bovril. I'm sure you've got a good vantage point. I want to say... I didn't manage to note the legendary Battenbergers, who were very generous on Wednesday, so please allow me. I'll give you a mention next Wednesday. Let's start with some of your meanderings. Oh, hello, Mr. Allen. Who's that? Jackie? No. Lioness sleeps no more. Hello, Mr. Allen. That's very formal for a Sunday evening, but it... there you go. I mean, I really don't mind how many need their cherries popping this evening, because it's I see it as service in the community, or community service, or community servicing, however you want to describe it. But please let me get to these. GB Patriot, evening, Adrian, you wrongin'. Is it just me, or are you getting sick of politicians coming on TV and lying for votes? No, they never would. They never would. Or do you and others feel the same? To be fair, GB Patriot, I personally had gotten to that. Everybody else can comment in the comments. I'd gotten to that this week and just thought, I wish they would just foxtrot Oscar now. I mean, how many times do we want to know that Sakir's dad is a toolmaker? I mean, we see evidence of that on the bloody TV every day. And then what's his face, rich boy, his mum's this and his dad's that, and hang on a second. Let me. I'm a gentleman, and I will always look after the ladies of the parish. Oh, hang on a second. Somebody's just said I've been coming for a while. Where's it gone? Oh, I say, you haven't deleted it by any chance, have you? No, somebody said I've been coming for a while. Lioness Sleeps No More says she really enjoyed that. Easy audience tonight, easily pleased. I can't say. Somebody said I've been coming for a while, and then I can't find the bloody message. Let's get to Andrew James, because we have to do the introductions, of course. And thank you very much to everyone that's Kate's alive. No, Matty PW. No. To everyone that's come to the sermon this evening. Oh, DC. Evening, Adrian. DC here. Thank you for being concerned. DC, you're most welcome. And I do hope it's been a lot more bearable this week for you. DC's struggling with a health issue, which we won't go into detail about, but I do hope everyone else in the body of the Kirk will give DC a little support and a bit of a G-up this Sunday evening. Hang on, somebody says, Chorley FM coming in your ears. Who was that? Clem Fandango. Oh, yes, Amalia Grassi, thank you very much for that. Honestly, I couldn't see for looking at it. Amalia Grassi says, I've been coming here for a while and he's never popped mine. Not happy. Amalia, I'll pop it twice just to make sure it's popped for you. That's the kind of gentleman I am. Andrew James says, Your Reverence, tonight church music is conducted by L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, bit of Scientology. Well, I say. You can use the jukebox for your own selection, but it only accepts £5 coins. Is there such a thing? Or is that a bit hooky? Or is Andrew James making a bit on the side? If you need to use the bog, it's £8 a go. Oh, I say, Andrew James, that's a little extortionate. What happens if... no, Adrian, don't go down that route. It's a family show. 120 people on a Sunday evening. I'll take that when England are playing. For the ladies, it's £8.20. Tight, Andrew, tight. Stuart says, good evening, Adrian. Got a few cold ones in the fridge waiting for 8 o'clock. And like I said before, I'll take my empties with me because nobody likes a litter bug. Gentlemanly, Stuart. Thank you very much for that. Rusty Mouse says to Andrew, I would rather hold on, thanks, if that's the price. Cross your legs, tie a knot in it. Well, some of us can. I'm joking, Rusty Mouse. Andrew James says, Stuart, you can sit there, move along, please. Yeah, get your fat backside up the pew, you're wrong. Sorry, you can't sit there, you've got to move along. Vivian Kenyon. Oh, Viv's in the body of the Kirk this evening. Evening, you Rollins. Evening, my favourite Reverend. Looking forward to being entertained in your unique way whilst commenting on the footy. Viv and Darlow. Viv, are you going to comment for us? I mean, you're from a footballing town. Should I, one of these days, Viv, should I tell the story? Thank you, Leah. Just keep giving me a nudge. Still 0-0. Should I tell the story... Darlington Football Club, and George. I can't say full names. Stuart saying my backside's staying here where it is. He must have a good cushion, whoopee cushion. George. What's his face? He used to own Darlington. Now there's a boy, and there's a story. That is definitely a documentary for Netflix. I mean, what can I say? I can't. But let's just say, I don't know how I can get around that, do you, Viv? Once upon a time, a gentleman got pulled over by the cops, and they opened the boot, and there was like £500,000 in the back of the car. And they said, I'm going to have to dance around this a little bit. And if you've paid attention, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I can't explain it because there are certain laws of the country. And anyway, this chap got pulled over. And The police said, so what's that then? He said, it's mine. They said, there's hundreds of thousands of pounds there. He said, yeah, I don't trust banks. And said gentleman, can I say this? Yeah. So he was known as a safecracker, and he was a bit tasty, and I can't go into too much detail for obvious reasons. But my papa was. So somebody said to this chap that had loads of money in the back of the car, "You need to go and sort him out." My dad. So my dad's sitting in a bar somewhere in the world, and this chap walks in, ready to give me dad a shoeing. My dad just looked up from drinking his beer into the mirror on the other side of the bar and sees this chap walking towards him. So my dad stands up slowly and goes, "What do you want?" And he went, "Oh," said my dad's name. He said, "I didn't realise it was you." He said, "If it had been you, I wouldn't have dared come here." Thank you, moderator. So there are plenty of stories I could sort of tell, but I've got to be. Some people are dead, some people are not, and those that are not, I've got to be careful of. But honestly, I've got 1,000,001. Really, I should write a book. I really should write a book, including about my dad's life, which was. He was a boy. He was a boy. Anyway, let's get to. Sorry, Viv, I know I meandered and went off on one there, but I think you know what I'm talking about with Darlington Football Club. Andrew James says, Rusty Mouse, there's a 5% discount if you bring your own bum paper. Yeah, you can wash it and reuse it, said a spokesperson. Stuart says, okay, Andrew, I'll move closer to the front. Andrew James said, that's Amalia's pew. Yeah, I have to sit near the bog. You're going to end up being the toilet bouncer. That's all I can say. Stuart to Andrew says, I'd rather listen to the Reverend Adrian, not noises that people make in the bog. Oh, there's nothing worse. Public toilets, they're literally, I mean, I don't know whether anybody else can handle that, but happy 93rd. Happy what? I think my phone is sending me the alerts with the messages before they're being published. Happy 90th, Adrian, from Millie. Another first. Thank you, Millie. Yeah, very kind. We are, me and the team are looking at the 100th live. It's going to be possibly on July 17th. So we have a million ideas. We're going to see what we can execute. We're going to see what we can do and how we do it. Hang on. No, that's working. Can anybody else see my ugly fizzog pointing? Or has it frozen? Or is it just frozen for me? Oh, hang on a second. What's that? No. It was me. Apologies. So, yeah, the Live 100 is going to be about July 17th, give or take. So we'll gladly accept your ideas. We're looking at... what's that? Hang on. Oh, yes, thank you very much. Although a little time lagged. I don't know if there's anything special you fancy. Do we do a phone in? Do we do... Well, you give me your ideas, what you would like for the 100th. We are talking... so we're going to have an election special. I enunciated that very carefully. Tucker 69 said, daughter rang. What did I miss? Nothing. Oh, Leah, thank you very much for that. Hang on, I'm just going to do this. Are they going to play the replay? Evidently not. That's the BBC for you. Can anybody tell me who scored? Matty PW says 100th, 100% Battenberg. Has it got to be 100% Battenberg? Oh, I say, what? To PT Ham, evening all, ya wrong'uns. Thank you, PT Ham, and to yourself. Andy, be evening from the M20. Oh, Andy, I hope you're listening and it's not distracting you, unless you're in the Bellingham. Wonderful. I have a feeling the phone-ins will be ruined by trolls. Andrew, no, not the way we set them up. Because if we're going to do a phone-in, and we have been looking, we've had a whole team of people looking at the technicalities. because the one thing I will not do is an unprofessional phone-in. And I know how professional phone-ins work. I know technically how they work. And all I can say is the trolls would have to be insanely clever and or quick, because there's nobody quicker than me. And also, they have to go through varying hoops to get on air with me. So, but thank you for your concern. That's why I love doing phone-ins, because I love being quick. There's a gag there somewhere. It's an age thing. To Caramboo UK. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. I've been here, but the last 2 Sundays I've been late. They a bit rough at the back, so made sure I was earlier. Hope you and Mrs. Allen are well. Caramboo, what can I say if it's a bit rough at the back? There are ointments you can get for it. Louise Hampson, evening one and all. You're wrong-uns. Rexanne, good evening, everyone. The baptismal font has been filled with, Jägermeister. Oh, honestly, the breakfast of skiing champions, Jägermeister. Let me tell you, I have friends that I've skied with, and it was, I'd get up, have a small bite to eat, and then I'd load myself up with those little bottles of Jägermeister for the slopes. And even the new Mrs. Allen, when I took her skiing once, I was like, yeah, I think we need that for breakfast. What? Well, yeah, just like boom, boom, down, and it gives you, it's like Ready Brek for the skiing slopes. It just warms you through thoroughly. So always welcome a little Jägermeister, Rexanne, definitely. However, myself and a few Scots have been bathing in it since last Friday evening. Nothing better, nothing better. I have a lot of friends and former work colleagues in Scotland, and we have a bit of banter. Never mind anyone but England. I did see, I think it was Paddy Power did this 2-minute bunting in the pews would be nice. Yeah, Tom, absolutely. I've forgotten all about that. We could have decorated the pews for this evening's match. Now that we're going up, we're up 1-0. And by the way, the hibiscus is in the house. So Louise, thank you for the messages that you've retracted. Yeah, utter wrong. Amalia's in there. Hi all, hope all is well. Rusty Mouse, nearly time for the rev to strut his stuff. I'm just giving my organ a bit of a rub, just to get make sure it's all well oiled and in perfectly working order. Oh yeah, Rexanne says, Amalia, are you cooking tonight? There's 152 of us in the body of the Kirk that you might have to feed, Amalia, so it might take you all night. Nicky Watson, Nicky! Evening all, got the cracking with me tonight. Hope you don't mind, Adrian. I have you on one monitor and England on the other. Let the fun begin. Just don't spit your coffee everywhere when I say something funny. Adrian, I want to see you with a pint on the 100th live. What? So I can neck it in like a second and a half. Because, you know, there is a thing in the northeast of England where it's 4 pints an hour every hour. And basically you can just relax your epiglottis and just pour it down your neck. But you making me laugh might actually end up with beer all over me computer screens and phones and things, scripts and things, if I ever have any. Amalia says to Rex, and I'm sick to death of it. I wish it would cook itself. Luckily, lunch out for Dad's Day today. You? Talblock Tracy's in the house, everyone. You're wrong. Have you heard the joke about the pork sausage? It's a banger. Do you know, I might expel you for that. Amalia Grassi acknowledges Talblock Tracy's just attempt at a bit of a banger. Have you noticed King Charles? Have you noticed his fingers? Have you noticed how they were like a well-hung lesbian? I mean, I'm sure Camilla loved him dearly. But whatever treatment he's under now, his fingers have not swelled as much. They're slimline. Not quite sure what they will be. What kind of sausage is thin and long. But his hands are not as fat, or his fingers. Alan says, hello, fellow Batburgers. Amalia Grassie's still going on. Wow, I'm impressed. Bone broth, so good and... Ooh, nothing better than a bit of bones. Rexel did a roast chicken today and have the bones on for soup tomorrow. Right, everybody round to Rexanne's. We're going to have some chicken soup tomorrow. Tucker69, sorry, Rexan. Tucker69 says, evening, Adrian, and all you what's a roggins. Hope I got the front row pew. I think you might be lucky. Which side do you want? Are you left leaning or are you right leaning? Which side do you want? Or are you a bit of a centrist? Tucker69. But wherever you go. Good brand Roy Bush Battenberg tea bags moderator. GB Patriot. Roy Bush Battenberg. Where on earth could we get those from? And do you know, somebody sent me like the most brilliant picture during the week. It's of a square mug in the Battenberg colours. Hang on, somebody's just cracked a mucky gag, and I know the gag, and it is really good, but hang on, Jackie Glasgow. Catherine was resplendent as a My Fair Lady outfit. Glad she's alive. Still all sus to me. Jackie, you're going to love what I'm going to tell you later. With no doubt. So, now that everyone's got their feet under the table, we can get underway. The sun is coming down over the yard arm. So if you need to have a snifter, a chicken in at a pub. The landlord said, why the long face? The chicken said, I'm a chicken, you idiot, not a horse. Leah. What's O'Rourke idiot talking about now? Hang on, Max Darcy, I'll never voted for him. Tablock Tracy, I knew you were going to do the KFC gag. I don't know why, but I did think about it earlier. A greasy bone and a smelly box, yeah, absolutely, got it. Max Star, I'm part of an autonomous collective. Oh, I say, very posh. So, tonight is live number 90, so it's got a 9 in it, which is very lucky. It's, hang on, Body of the Kirk, Kathy Harper, 20 odd minutes in, they're wrong un. Late, Kathy. Hang on. You'll have to put out the Battenberg and the altar wine for everyone as punishment. Wiggy, funny joke. All right, you're cracking gags. I'll leave you to it. So tonight, it's live number 90. The next live is Wednesday. Live 91 this coming Wednesday. Next Sunday, 23rd of June. We're already heading down to winter. Because isn't the 21st the longest day of the year? Length's never been a problem for me, but possibly the longest day of the year, 21st. And isn't it, there's two, so the summer solstice on the 21st, is it St. John the Baptist? Or is it St. John the Evangelist's day? I'm sure it's St. John the Baptist on Wednesday. And then, sorry, no, Monday. What day are we on? It's the 16th today. I'm losing my mind here. I'm literally losing my... So I'm sure it's St. John the Baptist. It's the two St. Johns, and St. John the Evangelist is the winter solstice. And I don't know whether you're going to Glastonbury for... let's hear it for the watery tarts, said Tom. Whatever takes your fancy, Tom. I do like lemon curd, by the way, if anybody's asking. So, I was checking out the footy a little earlier, and Slovakia and Denmark 1-1. First half Denmark, second half Slovakia. So it means that literally, if we win, 21st of the day my nanny died in 85. Sorry to hear that, Karina. I have to say congratulations to the BBC, because I am going to slag them off later. But I just want to say congratulations to them. They do some of their stuff, the best in the world. But Gary Lineker, no, passed it, done it, jumped the shark. To all the other lads, I think they're all nervous. They'll get into it as the tournament gets on. But I love the branding. I love the intro. I love what they've got. They'll never beat Pavarotti, and they'll never beat 96. But it's always, I don't know about you, but as an Englishman, and you can call me a Great Britain if you wish, but I prefer to be called an Englishman. Louise Hampson, Adrian, Denmark and Slovenia. Was it Slovenia, not Slovakia? And It's just painful being an English fan. I mean, it's bad enough being a Sunderland fan. We haven't even got a manager ready for the season coming up. I mean, I know we're in June and we've got till, I mean, pre-season we do in July, don't we? Alan's waving Battenberg-coloured ribbons, tolling the bells. For whom the bell tolls. So looking at the intro, I mean, there's Alf Ramsey. He's the only manager ever to bring a major tournament trophy home for us. And there's Jeff Hurst, one of my favourite players growing up as a little lad in the Northeast, because he was just those goals in the World Cup final. Bobby Charlton. Well, Jackie, I played cricket with Jackie Charlton for the Lord's Taverners. Have I ever told you that story? I've got pictures of me with... I understand that mullets are back in. But this time in the 80s, I had a proper mullet. Proper mullet. And not like an Eastern Bloc mullet. It was a little bit more stylish. But there's pictures of me standing next to Jackie Charlton and some old boy kind of giving Jackie Charlton a bit of a, obviously being a good Middlesbrough boy. And we played cricket for the Lord's Taverners, and Jackie Charlton went in just before me, batting. And it was a cricket match. It was just wonderful. Very happy memories. But looking at the state of play, we get so far, all these quarterfinals under Sven-Göran Eriksson, who's pretty ill at the moment, which is such a shame. I mean, we wish Sven all the best, especially after Ulrika. But the only shtick that the telly shows a picture. Mac, you dirty tart. I will do when I can when I can find it, and I'll scan it and I'll stick it up somewhere. And the picture. So I do have some. I've told me a Bobby Charlton story before, who was just a gentleman, a true English gent, as was Jackie, to be fair. Loved the company of both of them. But whenever we get to a football tournament, the whomever, the ITV and the BBC, they always go, "Oh, the pain, is it coming home? Oh, the pain." And it's like, no, it's not. We always travel in hope and then definitely arrive disappointed. But this time, the pain at the beginning, man. We had them all: Graham Taylor, Bobby Robson. Leah, I'm with you. It's just pain. Hang on. Will there be a Foxtrot Oscar mug, Adrian? Oh, yes. I was trying to have... Alan says Bobby Charlton's comb over was the best. My dad had exactly the same hairstyle. So, Leah, too much pain. I agree with you. It was all... We'll talk about the Bobby Charlton comb over another time. But if you're an England fan, you watch it and you just hope, beyond hope, that we're not going to gub it up. And then invariably, we gub it up. We are going to talk about the greatest goal of the last century, because we're in a new century. But I believe that Paul Gascoigne's goal at Wembley against the Scots in the 1996 Euros is without doubt one of the best goals of the 20th century. I mean, it was just... Georgie Best was Irish, though. He wasn't English. And Leah says, I couldn't watch the last time England were doing well and it went to penalties. I switched off. I lived near Wembley. There was silence. I knew England had lost. Oh, Leah. Do you know, I've only ever been to Wembley Stadium once, and it was for the Eagles when Hell Freezes Over tour. The dentist's chair, I agree, Tom. And my then lady took me to Wembley, and I didn't care about seeing the Eagles. Didn't care about, although the Eagles are mighty fine, and I had a great time, especially when Joe Walsh played Life's Been Good, and he did this massive long guitar intro, and the stadium's full of like hundreds of thousands of people, and I was the only one that screamed like a girlie because I knew what he was playing, and I knew from the get-go that it was Life's Been Good, and that's a mighty song. It's 7 and a bit minutes, nearly 8 minutes long on the single. But I was so bitterly disappointed that after all those years of growing up in the northeast of England, I didn't get the chance because we were slightly late for the concert. We got there in time, but the lady that I was that's no longer with me, Obvs, we didn't get to walk up Wembley Way. Bitterly, bitterly disappointed, and it's something that I would like to do at some point, just to reminisce as a little boy growing up in the northeast of England. But the England matches, as Leah said, it's just painful. It's just you can't watch. And now I keep mentioning Joseph Campbell, the author of The Hero's Journey, where the hero has to meet themselves and has to redeem themselves. And this, I mean, as a grown man. Was it Benjamin Disraeli who once said, man can only truly act from his passions? Seeing England win something. Oh, GB Patriot, don't, man, you're wrongin'. Videos on YouTube proving the Eagles were miming. You see, you've stuck it in my heart, GB Patriot. Well, even if they were miming, I don't care. I was still screaming like a girlie. And I forgot what I was going to say now. Yes, so Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. I mention it often. Have I got the book to hand? I had it in my hand the other day and I was going to show you. Yeah, that. Stand by, caller. So this is the book that I keep mentioning. Can you see that? Hang on. Yeah, that way. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. And the basic premise of The Hero's Journey is a man goes through life and can only redeem himself once he meets himself. And there would be no greater reward for Gareth Southgate after missing that penalty in the Euros in '96. Oh, a naked Anne Widdecombe would surely calm the fans. Oh, they'd be thrown up everywhere. There is also The Heroine's Journey. Is it not the same thing, Leah? I know that Joseph Campbell wrote that particular book, and that's the one I'm referencing. But it just would be poetic if... Who's just written Cool Wind in My Hair? The utter wrong'un. Amalia, you're wrong'un. It's a great song. It is a great song. But wouldn't it be poetic justice if after... And they reckon that some of the team and Terry Venables were all saying Gareth Southgate went back to his hotel room and locked the door and was really in bits for days. Alan, cool wind in my comb over. You're funny tonight. Let me get back on track. So the Hero's Journey, it would be poetic justice for Gareth Southgate to win us something. Not him on the pitch, obviously, he can't. But as manager, so as player, missing the penalty that got us knocked out, and then he brings home a trophy in 2024. Ooh. I mean, that would be beautiful. Poetic and beautiful. So let's hope that happens. But we are, like, the opposing fans... I mean, look, it's in Germany. What's all the violence about? Can I ask you that? What's all the violence about in Germany? They've legalised weed. How the hell are they fighting each other? I'm fully expecting it to be like Amsterdam, where everybody just chills out. Nobody fights. I mean, nobody gets it up either, much. But, I mean... Hasn't anybody told them it's legal in Germany? It's not legal over here. It's legal in Germany. So if you go and live in Germany or go and visit Germany, you can do whatever you want. Warm smell of colitis rising up in the air. Brilliant, Nicky. Serbia v Albania are bitter rivals. Ooh, Rich. Love to see that. Well, it's like, the Serbians are having a go at the English. And they're always big when we can't get at them. But has somebody told these people that we're a warrior nation? And like that, we're dead hard, us. All right then, you're hard when the stewards are there, blocking the way. Let us at them. And I think that at the beginning, we want a side that's playing for the badge on the chest. We want a side, every single player and the manager of, we want a side that's playing for the passion. We want players to be playing for the jersey, but more importantly, because we, the fans, can see it. They're playing for us. They literally will need to be carried off the pitch on their shield. They are the kind of warriors that we want representing us. That is exactly how we want them to play. Not necessarily skillfully, but absolutely get stuck into them and show them that we're a warrior nation. We want a side who wants this as much as we do. Do you think they do, all the multimillionaires? Oh, Bellingham is playing out of his skin. Best player in Europe, 2024, in my very humble opinion. But if you look at it, there's poets and philosophers and musicians and TV presenters, and they're all going, Terry Butcher, yeah, get it bleeding, get it bleeding. It's only a bit of blood, man. It's only a bit of claret. Don't hurt. Yeah, get something on your bonds. Ain't gonna hurt, man. The poets and the philosophers have been unable to encapsulate what we feel as English fans. We've had 50 odd years, man. It's coming up to nearly 60 years since 66. Michael Owen. Do you know which girl I was thinking of? Now, if you want, you can vote for your favourite English goal. But I'm trying to think of his name off the top of my head. He was Nottingham Forest manager while I was in Nottingham. And it was the ball coming over his shoulder, and he turns on a sixpence and just volleys it into the net. Oh, what was his name? I definitely haven't had enough hibiscus this evening. No, I don't think you would know either. Oh. Anyway, in my view, it's one of the best England goals, and it was the one where Gary Lineker was playing, and we scored like last minute. 58 years of hurt never stopped me dreaming, says Nicky Watson. I know, but do you know what we've got this year? Ian Portersfield. Who said that? Wonderful, wonderful. Well, wonderful. Ian Portersfield, 32 minutes. Sunderland, the underdogs, are in the lead. That's all I can say. Probably kicked off an hour house. But this year for the Euros, we haven't got... Who came up with Sweet Caroline? Talk of 69. Don't be saying that, man. You'll ruin me night. We're not going to mention her tonight because she's nearly finished her tour in the UK. I mean, they are desperate to get the Swiftie into the press. She has no taste in music. I agree with you. Talk of 69. But I was going to... You see, you've thrown me off now talking about Swiftie. Yes, I was going to say. So, who came up with Sweet Caroline and thought that was a good idea at a football match? It's not. I mean, it's bad enough Sunderland playing the theme to Z cars. I mean, look, Sunderland fans, Sweet Caroline for the Red Sox. Chasing 28, Smith 12. Oh, I haven't seen you for a while, young Chasing. Yeah, should be here in Dublin in 2 weeks. Keeper, Stuart, keeper. As in, not football keeper, just keeper. Just, I don't know, tie her up, keep her there. But Sweet Caroline, that's not a footy song. And now we've got Kenny Lynch. Half the day's gone and I haven't earned a penny. Look that one up for you. That's how quick that is. Kenny Lynch's greatest song. Half the day's gone and I haven't earned a penny. Who's? Hang on a second. I'm just going to do something. Let's bring that forward a bit. I was 6. Jackie, you're wrong. But we have, and Paddy Power did this promo for the tournament, and it's called Hey Jude. Oh. It's really difficult to... Oh, the old Bovril, David Beckham's goal, I think. Is that the free kick that he scored in the last minute to get us through? Wonderful, wonderful. Not as good as his kick against the Argentinians. And we have Hey Jude. And I hope Paranoid would be a great song for England. Oh, Tom, yeah. Yeah, I can't sing it, but I wish I could. Um, Vindaloo song is the best. No, Three Lions, New Order. With three lions on my chest, you know I can't go wrong. This is England. You've got to hold, and you've got to hold and do it. But I can't remember the lyrics now. I had them printed off for last week as well. I shall do it another night. Anyway, so hopefully they'll sing "Hey Jude" at the end of this particular match. Not as good as the slip and pass with Rebecca Lewis. Yeah, remember the pig thing she did on TV? Was it called The Farm or something? Rebecca Lewis. Rexanne, 1962, popular year. As it was, Pauline. Great song, Adrian. Which one's that, Napoleon Blown Apart? Three Lions. Do you know World in Motion by New Order? Thank you. I know that. Thank you, Louise. When I have a playlist for my gym because I'm not getting any younger, and when I start a pain in the gym, there are certain songs that I play that just make me go "Rrr," and just get me through the next 3 minutes or so. Lou Spunk Farm, GB Patriot. It certainly was. England should have the Benny Hill music. That would be funny. So World in Motion with the John Barnes rap is one of my favourite. You just put that on and the commentary at the beginning, they think it's all over, but it is now. And I'm like, got to keep going, got to keep going. And the other one is Firestarter by Firestarter, Twisted Firestarter. Do you know? Some things I can get like that. Other things. So I think they sing "Hey Jude." Lionel, you played White Shade of Pale, Procol Harum. I'm going to really freak you out now. That's the second time this weekend either that song has been mentioned or I've heard it playing. I was for my sins. I was at the garden centre for some new stuff for the garden, and it played in the background, and it has a particular resonance with me. Ken Wolstenholme, best commentary moment ever. I agree. And by the way, I presume that everyone that's here is a fan of the channel, so smash the likes, you wrong'un. Smash those likes. The Beatles, Karina Jane, love them. Now, I'm just going to touch on Father's Day very quickly before I get into some deeper stuff. And I hope that if you're a father and things are all well within the family. Sandra, stop it. Annie song, best football song, behave. Alan says he tripped the light Fandango. We've got Clem Fandango in the body of the Kirk this evening. Thank you, Chasing. Smashed it. I'm a fan. Smash the like button way back, says Leah. Thank you, Leah. I'm talking about tonight for this particular live. Remember the dirge, Oh Sweet England, with Moore, Hurst and Peters. I want them to sing Hey Jude at the end of the match because I know we've got Kane, we've got Foden, we've got the Macaming goal, and I mean, we've just got extraordinary talent on the pitch, but just if... what about the theme tune from the Archers? Kaz, you're wrongin'. No! I do hope they sing it for him, just to kind of... He's had an amazing season for Real Madrid, all his assists and his goals, and I just... Oh, come on. Just want to live in hope. Please just give us this tournament in hope. So Father's Day, I hope that your children or child treated you like a king, wherever you went, whatever you did today. And for some of us, if your dad's not around, I hope your day was bearable. If you tend to remember your father on Father's Day, I don't, bizarrely. There's a picture being released today, Prince William and his kids. I think the Man City fans. Well, there must be Man City fans because they've all got their backs to the camera. You can't see the movement. You can't see them jumping up and down, but they've all got their backs to the cameras. And not one of the mainstream media's gone, oh, Man City fans. I mean, it's topical. Journalists. About as thick as my hairy backside. And the picture, are you waiting for this? The picture was taken last month by Catherine, Princess of Wales. Not that ill, then, was she? But I am going to talk about her and that and stuff because it's quite worrying I'm just sort of trying to head off any Richie Benno, best cricket commentator, royal photo taken months ago. I know GB Patriot, but I do have a theory. I mean, some people are going, it's a clone. It's a clone. We can clone. I think any England song should be sung a cappella. Yeah, without the drummers. Somebody there beating his drum. Lost my dad, stepdad and husband. Happy Heavenly Father's Day. Bless you. Sorry about that, Karina. But I do have a theory. So tonight we're going to have a bit of conspiracy. We're going to have a bit of deep, and we're going to have a bit of a giggle. I'm also going to ask you a couple of questions. Now I'm going to. It feels like you're in a bit of a lighter mood this evening. So I'm going to ask you if I can find it. Yes. I've got a couple of questions, just lighter questions. But it's Glastonbury in 2 weeks. So who would be, you can have any band in the world, just put it in the comments because it'd be interesting to see. Who would be your Glastonbury dream headliner? So I had a real think about this earlier for quite a while. And there would be loads of, I mean, I could do the Pistols in their pomp, 77 Pistols, when Glenn Matlock was still there. Bebop Deluxe. Oh, I forgot about Pink Floyd, Top of 6ix9ine. Ooh. So what would be your Glastonbury dream headliner? Bay City Rollers? Not bad. I would go for that. ELO, Creedence, Rick Astley. Genesis with Peter Gabriel. Now there's the thing. Oh, Queen. See, I forgot about that. Ooh. Who was that? Wiggy Videos. Joe Dolce. You can shut up in your face. See what I did there? Original Queen, Nirvana, Cher, Matty PW, Cher. My number one would be the Beatles. Studio years, not the early days pop thingy, bubblegum thingy, Shang-a-lang or Shag-a-lad, Block Tracy, Shang anybody you want. It's your life. Queen, Hot Chocolate, the Ozric Tentacles. Who the other day. Bowie 70 era, interesting. Rolling Stones, interesting. But the Beatles would be number one for me. Number two, a very close number two, would be Killing Joke, Love Like Blood. There's a song. Who said Killing Joke? Pauline, Love Like Blood. There's, I've got the white label 12-inch of that. A couple of versions of that somewhere in my vinyl collection. But that's a great song by Killing Joke. The Beatles would be number one. And very close second, it will be a tie between Led Zeppelin, nobody's mentioned Led Zeppelin yet, and Prince. Santana, In Excess, Jilton John, Killing Joke, brilliant band, I agree. Kate Bush, yeah, because now you just want to, Beatles with Lennon, I agree, Leah, has to be with Lennon, has to be, well, it would only be the original, the studio years. There's, I saw something earlier about Paul and Fall, you know, this Paul is dead thing. And it makes sense because yesterday with Catherine, friends of mine, and I will mention this, friends of mine have facial recognition because they're partially sighted. So they have facial recognition apps on their King Crimson, Mate Kudasai. There's a song and a half. Depeche Mode, just can't get enough. And Level 42, my favourite Level 42 song, Love Meeting Love. There's a tune. Johnny Cash, Boy Named Sue. What was I telling you there? You've completely thrown me. Led Zeppelin and Prince. Bowie. Oh, Ella Fitzgerald. Now there was a voice. Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, Janis Joplin, another voice. Facial recognition. Thank you. So I'm so glad you're paying attention. I think whoever that was. Parzival, just in case. Double A doing a G.G. Allen. The Kinks, yes. Neil Innes. Wasn't Neil Innes in the... Susie, Sue and the Banshees. Hong Kong Garden. Hendrix. Impossible choice. Interesting, keep them coming. Mud. Who's that? Hello, Adrian. Mike Litt has been singing your praises today on Twitter. He's got 100,000 followers. Should bring a few more eyeballs to you. Oh, who's that? Who said that? Thank you, John. Not sure, but just in case. Mike Litt. I'll go and have a look if I can get in contact with him. That's very kind of him. So the Glastonbury Dream headliner. Mine would have been number 1, the Beatles, studio years, not the early years. Yeah, Paul and Fall. That's what I was talking about, and facial recognition. So my friends, Eric Dane and Evelyn Bex, they used their facial recognition app to make sure it was who it said it was on telly at Drooping of the Colour. And yeah, sure enough, the facial recognition went, oh yes, that's Catherine, Princess of Wales. And then, so I looked at your ear is as individual as your fingerprints. Mike Litt is throbbing with excitement about you. Not a first, John, let me tell you. I worked in radio for too long. Not a first. And you can tell by how your ear is, like the inner, not the lobe, it's the inner inside of the ear that is unique to yourself. And you can tell if you have a look at Catherine, if you can get a side-on shot, definitely her. Old pictures, new pictures, definitely her. But if you look at Paul McCartney, the early Paul McCartney has completely different ears to the later Paul McCartney. So I remember selling a shed load of my vinyl to a dealer, and he said, "Yeah, you ever the Levelers? Have you ever? Hang on, yes, it is. A friend of mine did a university study on it while I was doing forensics degree. Rich. Oh, are we talking about Paul McCartney, or Paul and Fall, or are we talking about Catherine? Let me know, Rich. So if he's done it in forensic, he'll know whether Paul is. But do you know, at the time, can you remember Heather Mills McCartney, ears? And she once did the no mistaking the king's ears. No, not at all. No, never. And have you noticed how the hair here, they've kind of bushed it out? So the king's ears are like this. I've only got little ears, by the way, before you start. I'm not a wingnut. Napoleon Bonaparte says, didn't McCartney have his ears pinned back? If I keep holding mine like this, I'll need mine doing. But the king suddenly, so he's got all this hair here, and it kind of fills out. John, Heather Mills McCartney, I'm stumped. Hey up, Jim Atkinson. Yeah, wrong. Took your time. What was it, half time? Joke. And so she went on like Good Morning Britain or GMB or whatever it was called then to do an interview, and literally the mainstream media called her as mad as a hatter for days afterwards for this interview. And this interview, she was kind of, and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember the exact wording, but oh, Jip, sorry, I'm being unfair. Me too. And but good to have you in the body of the Kirk this evening. I do hope the chunky butts letting you into a pew for however long you can stay. But I do hope you can stay. Bob Dylan from the Rolling Thunder Tour. Ooh, nice shout. But she was, Heather Mills McCartney was doing this interview, and they thought she was slightly mad. And she was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know who he is. You don't, yeah, the weird interview. You don't even know who he is. You don't know the real him. And everybody was like, she got up early. Is she on what Joe Biden's on? And if you can find that interview, it's proper well weird. But as the years have gone by, it's aged well. Oh, Tower Block Tracy, Meatloaf with Steinman. I'll tell you the story about me nearly getting into a fight with Meatloaf. I mean, he would have absolutely flattened me. He was a man mountain when I met him. He must have been 30 stone. All he had to do was just fall on me. But hang on, stand by the font. Jip, it smells like a Jaeger bomb. Who's that, Rich? Yeah, it does. Sorry, I've just I needed a bit of a lift. Sid Lawrence, seen them in Worcester, and his orchestra, Deep Purple. So it's aged well. I mean, Althea and Donna, up, down, top ranking, Leanne. And Mark says, "Oh, the fall story." I know, and it is a conspiracy, but is there any truth in it? I mean, I think it was two German guys or was it two French guys wrote this book, and they did this massive investigation into whether it was whether Paul is real or not, and they came up with like facial recognition, going, "No, it's not him. He's different." And can you remember what was the story about? The guy that had a bit of a fall or a crash about 4 or 5 years ago, and he banged his head, and then he could remember all the Beatles songs, and then they went round and like near the end of the film, they went round and knocked on this door, and literally I thought it was John Lennon answering the door, and I couldn't. My heart started pounding, and I was like wide-eyed, and I was looking at the screen going, "Holy foxtrot!" No, film was yesterday. Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't. I mean, I'm an old boy. I'm allowed to cry. Mrs. B voted for Meatloaf. Tablock Tracy. Otis Redding. Ooh. On Ready Steady Go special. Yeah, agreed. What was the female blues singer? Female. Oh, most of the blues boys, Stones, cited her, and she came across and did some. There's just I would have James Brown, but these are my top three. So Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and Prince. No females. Plenty. I would have Anita Baker. I would have Anita Baker at the drop of a hat, just simply because her voice was effortless, and she was Whitney Houston before she was before Whitney Houston. Ella, yeah, Aretha, Patti Smith, because the night, Amalia, Queen. I know, Rich, you've told me half a dozen times, I think. But Freddie on his own, and there was again, I saw this video clip a couple of days ago of this 100,000 crowd singing a Queen song a cappella. No Freddie, as if they were singing to Freddie. Love of my life. I mean, hairs on the back of my neck standing up. Without Freddie. Karen Carpenter, I agree. Wonderful voice. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Who said that? Thank you, Tom. Wow, you've got some knowledge on you. Thank you. Yes, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. I'd love her to have still been around. All the great old blues singers. But Anita Baker. I used to love the Flying Pickets. Bless you. Don't you get that much? Rich, I think that's live in Brazil, Adrian. I think they sang it back to him. I can't remember what it was, Rich, but I just know I was watching it, and the emotion that welled up, surprisingly, and the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. So we'll do the Glastonbury Dream headliner, and then in about half an hour or so, I'm going to ask you another one. I'm going to ask you for your best TV theme ever. The Who. Who are you, Des Ashton? Who are you? Who are you? Was that 77 or 78? I remember seeing that on Top of the Pops for the first time and seeing Roger Daltrey sing the foxtrot word, but it didn't come out of the telly like foxtrot. And I was like, hang on a second, he's just sworn. How did it not come out of the telly? He's been a sweary Mary. Alan, just had you wished, man. Just hold on. Let me do that. Yeah. So I've got my top three. We'll do the best TV themes in half an hour or so. So, get your thinking caps on. Green Deer. I followed the groundhog since 73. Have you Napoleon blown apart? Chips with John. Gary. Oh, what's the... Oh, yeah. Honestly, now you've got me rattling. That is tremendous. Anyway, let's... I want to get to something. I want to quote you something from the Bible. Now, you're probably going to go, sons and daughters, Matty PW. You're all at it tonight. I swear, someone has put rum punch into the altar wine. And that Battenberg, UFO, So yeah, it's like herding cats tonight. You're making me laugh, which is unfair. CSI New York, yeah, wasn't that one of the Who's songs? Thunderbirds are Sandra, I think you're right up for it tonight. Tales from the Unexpected, DC. I'm going to ignore you because you're just being very naughty tonight. I want to read this to you, and it's in relation to what's going on politically at the moment because it's all just mad. In fact, let me I'll read that, then that, and then that, just so I can get it, because you distracted me. The White Horse thing was lovely. I agree, Alan, as was Black Beauty. So this is Isaiah 56, verses 10 to 11. It is a proper sermon this evening. What can I say? 5RXL5, cell block H, you tart, Kerry. Oh, Kerry. Another. I'm popping so many cherries this evening. So this is an actual quote from the good book, Mission Impossible. Lionel, definitely, agreed. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, and I quote, "His watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yes, they are greedy dogs, which never have enough, and they are shepherds who cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his own gain, from his own quarter." I'm talking about these thieving oiks, these crooked bar stewards in the Pink Palace in the House of Commons. Now, if you want to know what's coming up, I'm just going to, as I tend to, I'm going to alert you into something that you might want to keep my eyes open. Jip, I know you love your greedy dog, and dogs are greedy, but I'm not talking about greedy dogs. I'm talking about greedy dogs. Like, they have snouts of pigs. I was being polite. So I thought it was... Lauren Taylor said, "Oh, God help us." Well, it's his book, so I can read from it. He's reading from the bloody Bible. I'm the irreverent Reverend Lauren. I am the Reverend Battenberger. I am the Reverend of the body of the Kirk. And if you want me to do a proper sermon, I'm just joking. I'm teasing you. Now, I thought it was spelled Zulu, India, November, Oscar, Victor, India, Echo, Victor. The Zinoviev letter. Now, if you can remember, as far back as Stanley Baldwin, the Tory party, led by Stanley Baldwin, won the election in part, at least, on public response to this Zinoviev letter. Now, this particular election resulted in the fall of the first Labour government and a strong victory for the Conservative Party and the continued collapse of the Liberal Party. Remember the Liberal Party? The one that Winston Churchill was a member of? And remember when Winston Churchill turned the guns on his own people as part of the Liberal Party? I know. Are you afraid yet? I bloody am. Lauren, Sir Keir Starmer. Is he scaring you yet? Kate rises from the cave. Enough about her castles. So the Zinoviev letter was published just 4 days before that particular general election. There was no time to actually refute the letter. It was a fake. I mean, it would be called a deep fake nowadays. I mean, of course it was a fake, and the Daily Mail knew it. Probably so did Stanley Baldwin. Certainly, MI6 knew it was a fake. But by the time it was proven to be a complete fabrication, the Tories were in power. I mean, who can honestly say a desperate Sunak won't pull a stunt like this? Who can honestly say that the Daily Mail or the Tory Graph won't pull a stunt like this? I mean, of course, a Zinoviev bomb wouldn't be about Russia necessarily. It can be any suddenly discovered letter or document or invented policy. Remember the meal tax pay per mile thrown at the front pages at the last moment? Tories' lies and the Daily Mail's lies. So just keep an eye open for it, because it is a tactic. It has been used before, and they always look to history to go, oh, how can we stay in power? Zinoviev letter. something that comes out that has something to do with Sir Keir Starmer. And I've said to you before many times, I think the game now is people will stand, and I was gonna tell you this. Let me make sure that I've got to the right page for my notes, because it was very interesting. I was out today with someone who shall not be named for obvious reasons, but they are lifelong Tory fans. They are lifelong Tory voters, lifelong, and they're in their dotage, so to speak, lifelong Tory voters for over 60 years. And do you know what they said to me today? I don't want to vote Tory anymore. And I said, why? I said, well, they've made a real mess of things now, so I don't want to vote Tory anymore. So I said, okay, who would you vote for? Can't vote Labour. It's against my constitution. Just can't vote Labour. I'm a lifelong Tory voter. So I said, okay, there's not many options left. Who would you go for? Would you go for the Greens? Oh, no, can't vote for the bloody Greens. I said, so would you vote for the Lib Dems? Oh, no, they've made as bad a mess of it. Oh, can you remember what they did when they were in the coalition with the Tories? No, bloody hopeless. So I said, hang on a second, there's not many left. There's only, let's have a think, Reform. And genuinely, he said to me, I know, I'm looking at them. I said, but you're a lifelong Tory voter. Yes? They've made a mess. So you're going to stand in the booth. You definitely can't vote for Labour. You don't want to vote for the Tories anymore. You can't and won't go Green or Lib Dems. But you're looking at Reform. I quite like that, Nigel Farage. How many in their tens of thousands, if not millions of people, are feeling exactly the same way as that? They may not know who they're going to vote for, and it may be they stand in the voting booth with the pencil in their hand and they don't know which box they want to tick. And that's how bad it's got for the Tories. I also saw some polling detail today, and if I've got it in front of me, no, I haven't. Let me go through this. So I think what we have here with the government is that we have managers, we don't have leaders. Have you ever worked for people who like to think that they're leaders, but they're really shite managers? They just manage, they can't even manage themselves, let alone anything else. Derek says, vote Reform and give a shock to the global elitists. I think there's a lot of that going around. I do, with the WEF and the WHO, and have you noticed who never gets a mention now? Maybe they've kind of gone down from the Premiership. Maybe they're languishing in the old second division, the new first division. The Bilderberg Group, nobody ever mentions them. Have you ever heard of them? Micromanagers justifying their existence. Amalia, absolutely bob on. But today's politicians, they're managers, they're not leaders. They've got no courage. So come July the 5th, will it be a Prime Minister with the personality of a park bench? Will it be Robot Starmer taking the knee? Wealth-despising socialism? Starmer the robot, keeping his wife out of the public eye whilst campaigning? I wonder why that is, Keir. Go on, you tart. Why you keep the missus out of the headlines? We both bloody know, don't we? We do. Because if that came out, the Labour Party wouldn't get into power, would they? You tart. I mean, bless him. I saw was it in the Times today? Hang on, is that it? No. Is that it? No. This is it. I knew I kept it here for a reason. Have you seen that in the Times today? It's a bit like the young ones. You know, when Neil was trying to be really trendy and would go drinking. What do you mean it's out? It's not. My zip's up. Angela Cook. So Keir Starmer's done this vanity piece. You're a fridge, Neil. And Sir Keir Starmer, father, footy fan, husband and socialist, future PM. And I'm looking at these pictures on the front of this magazine, and I'm like, he's drinking water. That boy is drinking water. He's in a pub and he's drinking water. Do not trust a man that goes into a pub and orders water. Now, I know that nowadays there are designated drivers and people, can't go in and get absolutely steaming because, well, they just can't. But if you see that, there, he's out having a wander around. I think he's going to an Arsenal match. He's got a bloody bottle of water in his hand, man. How can you... Yeah, his father made a tool. Nigel drinks proper. Nigel drinks pints. Not like Sir Keir Starmer. I mean, he's a barrister. Oh, don't. Barristers. Oh, that's lovely. And, Sir Keir Starmer, is he scaring you yet? He's no better than Slippery Sunak, rich boy. Oh, it's my wife's money, not mine. No. I don't. As I said earlier, Benjamin Disraeli says man can only truly act from his passions. Starmer, Sir Keir Starmer, the human sleeping pill. I laughed out loud at that. There's always a hope of a brighter tomorrow. Sunak and the gang are widely despised. And can somebody explain something to me? Because I'm a bit thick. What was Rich Boy Sunak doing? Is it fruity? Yeah, it's non-alcoholic hibiscus, Amalia. So Rich Boy was fawning all over the pub. I mean, I will mention that Sleepy Joe, Colombian powder on his cornflakes, Joe Biden. Well, did he think that the Pope was an Eskimo or something? Did he go in for the rub? He went in, and I'm thinking, is that Joe Biden doing a slow motion nut on the Pope? I mean, where was the Swiss Guard? I know it's America's president, but can you imagine Joe Biden going in and going, "Oh, Francis, you tart." I mean, he wanders off at the G7 meeting the other day. He's kind of wandering off randomly, and nobody's going, "Oi, Joe, you're wrongin'. This way. Oi, tart, come here." And they just let him go and put his forehead. The president is Grandpa Simpson. He is. He's not Joe 90, that's for certain. But I mean, I've seen the pictures in the papers today of Biden putting the nut on the Pope. Now, seemingly, the Pope is God's right-hand man on earth. How can the president go, "Doof, you tart"? It's... But let me tell you, as someone once said, you can change the people in the party, but the party never changes. Very wise words. And seemingly, 19 of the 72 Tory seats left only have a 2% majority. So a small shift to reform would mean that the Tories would have less than 50 seats. Yeah. Francis, stitch that, you tart. Yeah, you and your Swiss army. Come on and I'll take you all on. Joe, no, you've taken the wrong medication. What do you mean I've taken the wrong medication? And you. Can you imagine Joe Biden kicking off? I mean, it would be in slow motion. It would be like The Matrix. You know, bullet time, The Matrix? That would be Joe Biden kicking off. Be in slow motion. Oh, dear. And Starmer thinks we're laughing at his dad. No, he's the tool maker, not the tool. We don't want to... We're laughing at the monkey, not the monkey, the organ grinder. Uri Geller warns against the dangers of listening to celebrities on political issues. Let me tell you about Uri Geller. Grandpa Simpson farting. Brilliant. President Poopy Pants. I mean, this guy's got his finger on the nuclear button. He's probably got his son Hunter's laptop in his ranch. Oh, yeah, he was looking for nits on the Pope. The Pope's got no airmanship. He's barley buns. Where were the Swiss Guard? Where were all the cardinals going, Joe, no, you can't do that, you can't. No, get off the Pope, you're on. Come on, I'll take you all on. Brilliant. I've been laughing for days at it. Wasn't Yuri the biggest bender on TV at the time? Yeah, so Google this. Has Hunter still got 2 trials pending? Now, he was on 3 charges. I don't know whether he's got any more. We're all doomed. Andrew James says, in the field before or after you drop the boom boom. You've heard the rumours. I hope he gives it a wipe after he uses it, Tom. Where was I? I was having fun there for a second. Should have stopped that. Joe Biden said he's not going to pardon Hunter. Is Alex gay? Alex who? Oh, you've started her off now. No, I don't want you to be part of this live tonight, Alexa. Oi, tart. Alexa, are you not playing Friends with me tonight?
I can't find the song Friends with Me Tonight on Spotify.
That's because there's no songs, Alexa. Anyway, so Uri Geller. So Michael Jackson, the most prolific paedophile in showbiz history. Oh, his name's just gone out of my head. The Labour peer. Greville Janner. Lord Greville Janner. So there's a picture of the most prolific paedophile in showbiz history, the most prolific, or one of the most prolific paedophiles in the Houses of Commons, and a third person. So it was Greville Janner, Michael Jackson, and who was the third person standing with them? Uri Geller. The circles that you move in. So I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. I wanted to talk about the beatification, if you know what I mean. The beatification of Michael Mosley. Dr. Michael Mosley. Now, it's... Ted. Oh, you want to talk about Ted Heath? Him, Sir John Gielgud and Greville Janner cruising around Soho, picking up rent boys, taking them offshore, and, well, you know the rest. I bet you've never heard at least one of those names before in those. So, fact. The beatification of Dr. Michael Mosley. I appreciate that it's sad and it's an awful story. And it was a shame that yes, GB Patriot, and it was a shame that Dr. Michael Mosley came to an untimely end on the Greek island. But it's this mainstream media beatification. Oh, Saint Michael Mosley, he's done so much for the country. Saint Michael Mosley, this, that, and the bloody other. And I think, hang on a second. No, he thieved some of his feckin' work. Now, on the odd occasion, he would give credit where credit was due. But Mosley made his name by reversing his type 2 diabetes. Oh, I wonder whose work he used, and it wasn't his bloody own. No, that work, that breakthrough for the last 2-3 decades of work is Professor Roy Taylor from the Newcastle Resonance Centre at Newcastle University. And Dr. Michael Mosley took his work and passed it off as his own, sometimes giving Professor Taylor some credit. What about Cyril Smith? Yeah, he abused boys. Everybody knows. Except they didn't say anything while he was alive. So the diabetes work that Dr. Michael Mosley used was not his. He took that work from Professor Roy Taylor. Have I got... I also had that book out. Oh, I bet it's not here. I was reading through the book for reference, and I was going to. Is it that it? No. This is a very good book that I was going to start and read again by Vernon Coleman. I've had this 20 years, and Vernon Coleman is a very, very good writer, and he was ahead of his time, really ahead of his time. So all these people that go, oh, right wing, behave. You're amateurs. Come back to me. 20 years ago, I was reading this. 20 years ago, I was doing stuff. 20 years ago, when you were still shitting nappies. Anyway, so what the mainstream haven't told you while they're while they're creating the beatification of Dr. Michael Mosley is that he was a primetime star, mainstream primetime star that pushed the jibber jabber. He was telling everybody to take it. No, let's have a look at this. Was it, did his death have anything to do with the jibber jabber? What did they find? Let's wait. The coroner will have a determination. And his wife was the nutritionist, not him. He was the front man. So let's see. A doctor who should know better about going out in 40-degree heat, seemingly. Yeah, he did, Pauline. He took it. And he was pushing it. The only question I've got is, how much was he paid by the big pharma? How much? How much? Right, let's get into. I'll do this Kate thing, because I want you to consider something that. You know how I like to think about things. You know that I am someone who thinks very deeply about things and has done for 40 years, being a late night talk show host on the radio. And I have to say that sometimes it's really easy to see things. Sometimes it's not so easy. Yeah, as Amalia said precisely, why no phone? It's weird. I want you to think, if you can, that is, and I want you to, Vix Tex, good to have you back, brought to you by Pfizer. I want you to think about what was termed as the online safety bill, and then, yeah, Kate, thank you, Kate. I've seen that old man in a chair videos. Yeah, quite a few people called it, but they weren't allowed their voice. They weren't allowed their moment to say it. And it was those that were very brave, whether it was the doctors, whether it was the American A&E doctors, whether it was A&E doctors here that were seeing things that were unnatural, whether it's people that I've met that absolutely steadfastly refused to talk to me about it. And I know that the minute... There's an old saying that no response is still a response. And when I've talked to medical practitioners and gone, is there anything in that? And they've gone, can't talk about it. I know at the point where they go, can't talk about it, I know there's something in it. Because if there wasn't anything in it, they would say there's nothing in it. End of conversation. So let's talk about Catherine, Princess of Wales. Yeah, I agree with you, Pauline. All those people, all those, like their profile pictures. I've had my jibber jabber. Oh, well, you'd be dead in 5 years then. Exactly the same as MMR. Pauline, remember Charles Linton? Remember his little lad, Leo? Did they get him injected with the MMR? No, don't be silly. They took him to France, where they could have the separate jabs. They didn't have it all in one. Don't be silly. So then you've got to ask yourself the question, why would they do that then? Because they know. They're not going to put their children at risk. Don't be silly. Have you seen Dr. John Campbell's new video about correlation between jobber and sperm's mortality. I think Andrew Bridgen has said something similar. It is that data is starting to leak out, pun not intended, and I saw some of Dr. John Campbell's video. Yes, I have invited Dr. John Campbell on the channel, but I'm afraid that the channel isn't big enough for some of these names to come on because they just ghost me. There's even some smaller channels that I've gone, oh, do you fancy coming on a chat? Yeah. And then they ghost me. Why is that then? Would they be worried by any chance? Have they got anything to hide? Are they worried I'm going to ask them some questions that might be a bit pointed? No, that's not the game. The game is just creating something that's both entertaining and informative. That's all. I couldn't have the mumps jab. So let's just park that for a moment because I want to tell you about Catherine and a theory. My theory helped with a few others. To TW, thank you very much. And it's now the Online Safety Act. I want you to consider that. Because what would they need? You know, I told you last year about a Black Swan event. Now, the Saudis having a 50-year agreement and then dropping it because there's no agreement in place now. So, oh, mouth's getting a bit dry. So the Saudis have had an agreement with the Americans for the petrodollar. So they agreed to sell their oil in the dollar, the petrodollar. But now the Saudis have gone, oh, stuff you. We're going to sell it in anything that we want. So the Saudis are not selling their oil in petrodollars anymore. Wow. Lionel says, I've been unwell and have had nurses visit me since my first jab. I've mentioned it often to my medical advisors that I blame the jab and they don't deny it. I know they don't because they know. They know. But everybody was getting money from Big Pharma. Big Pharma was getting shed loads of money from the government. Shed loads. And you know how this works? The government took advertising out in the mainstream media, the daily newspapers. And why would they do that? Because the advertising is keeping the mainstream media afloat. The Sun, last I looked, was losing about 50 million. Wow, Lawrence. June Slater got a copycat channel. Wow. I mean, I've seen some of June's work. Very good. Very, very good. I saw the Neil Oliver interview from the other night. Very, very good. And there's a copycat channel that's got more subs than her. Mad. That is proper mad. So let's get back to Catherine. We've got plenty of time, but this is quite prescient. The Trooping the Colour yesterday. Now, I know that I've been getting it tight from all kinds of areas, including a guy called Gary Chabot. Hello, Gary, mate. How are you? I got what you said. Thank you very much in one of the comments. Thank you. Got it. You're not very happy at me mentioning Catherine. Well, I think you need to open your eyes, Gary, because the people that watch this channel are free and critical thinkers. And if you take what the propagandists are shoving down your throat, then you have the freedom to choose. Gary, you can stay and learn and get understanding and context, or you can just take what they were given to you. But you see, I'm going to give you context. Everyone that's watching this live now and on replay, I'm going to give you context because there's games afoot. There are always games afoot. And when the propaganda peddlers, Nikki, thank you for that. I am aware of RFK Jr. and Big Pharma and the stuff that he's written. Very, very interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to Robert Kennedy Jr. in this presidential election. He's not going to. It's between the two stalking horses, if you were. But RFK's had some very interesting things to say about Big Pharma. Very truthful as well. I'm going to give you something that I want you to consider. This is not me telling you as it is. This is something for you to think about. Now, trooping the colour. What we do in this country is the grand ceremonial. We do it better than anybody else in the world. It's what we are renowned for. Our crown, our monarchy, our ceremonial bits and pieces that we do. The Americans and the tourists love it. That's what they come here for. So that trooping the colour yesterday was magnificent. It truly was magnificent. And Catherine, Princess of Wales, was there. Now, when she came out of the... sorry, I haven't got a glass, so it's going to have to come out of the bowl. It's gin. Neat. Not ideal, but I'm very thirsty. So when Catherine came out, she was being a cheeky minx. She had her hat this way, so you couldn't really see anything that side. You could just see this bit here. And I thought, you cheeky tart, you're playing a game, and the royals are playing the game. Why are you playing a game? Are you getting off on it? Is that really what you do? You get off on it? Why don't you get off on watching your husband being pegged by somebody else? Instead of doing that and playing with us. So seemingly, Big Willie style went to MI6 the other day, like the day before. And I was thinking, why has he gone to MI6? It's jigsaw pieces. And basically, they're playing games with us. But I tell you what the game is. They haven't told you what this game is. They haven't told you how they're playing it. They haven't told you what the rules are. Let me tell you what is going on. So, as I say, friends of mine used a facial recognition app. They took a photograph, came back as Catherine, Princess of Wales. Wonderful. So everybody can rest easy now. There's Catherine, Princess of Wales, on the balcony and in carriage number 2, going to Trooping of the Colour. The reporting, I'll guarantee you, is propaganda driven. Do not trust these people in the mainstream media, in the newspapers. Do not trust them as far as... Hang on, somebody's just said Wheels is getting pegged now. Dear God, who? Harry? Oh, you haven't heard that one. What do you think? Oh, hang on a second. So all the references to Peggy Sue that I've been using for weeks on this channel, nobody's got. Oh, wait, man, I've got to give you clues. The rumours are that it's Rose Hanbury that's pegging him. You haven't heard that one? Oh, sorry. You need me to tell you what pegging is? Don't Google it. Certainly while you're at work. Oh, don't. Paulie's just asked what's pegging. Okay, so pegging is, how can I say this? There is another very famous actor that had something similar done to them that was subject of a super injunction. Bet you don't know that either. If that had come out. And obviously I don't know any further details because it's subject to a super injunction. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Of course I know who it is. Of course I know where, when, how, everything. But it's subject to a super injunction. This actor. Just Googled it. Oh my Lord, says Stuart. Anyway, every day's a school day. So hats come out like this. All of this, you can't say what's going on. All this, you're like, is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? And you have a, and this is my take on it. The beginning of. So all the reporting is propaganda driven. Tower Block Tracy, 150 quid, and I'll show you personally. You're that cheap, Tower Block Tracy. Hang on, Stuart says I'm not at work. So let's just look at some of the stakes in the ground that we need to look at. One, the palace released a photoshopped photo of the Catherine, Princess of Wales. And there was a kill notice put on that photograph, released by the palace, Kensington Palace. Richard Gere and the Gerbils. Pet Shop Boys. Right, very quickly, one or two. Do you want me to tell you the Richard Gere and the Gerbils story? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Very quickly. Yeah, there's 200 watching. Do you want me to tell you the Richard Gere story and the Gerbils? Or Gerbil? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Kate Webster's laughing her cap off. Do you know, I've just got a whole couple of hundred of monkey pups who just want to know the filth. Right, no need to vote. I'm going to tell you the story. So back in the 80s, there was a thing... if you haven't got pegging, oi, oi, oi. Right, if you're traumatised by this, bend over Blackadder. If you don't, if you don't want to, Sandra, just la 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 la, stick your fingers in your ears. But if you do, then I'm going to tell you now. It's like waiting for the football scores. If you don't want to see the results. So back in the 80s, there was this thing in Hollywood where what they would do is they would buy gerbils, pull their teeth and pull their claws out. And certain types of men would then, Alan, cover the ears of your children now. Actually, cover the ears of your spouse. It might traumatise them more than the kids, because the kids will go, oh, gerbils. So what they used to do in Hollywood was they'd buy the gerbils from the pet shops, and they'd have their nails and teeth pulled out so that they couldn't scratch under... Sorry, I know what's coming. I haven't told this story for an awful long time. So basically what they would do is they would... how can I put this politely? Well, they'd make sure that their back door was sufficiently... Freddie Starr wouldn't eat this gerbil, I'm telling you. Not in the month of Sundays. Not even after an industrial strength cleaner. Kerry says, up the bum, up the bum. I know what's coming. That's what she says. No, you don't know this one. So a couple of the Pet Shop Boys. Gerbil, ding, 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 ding. Teeth, claws, everything. And then they get it stretched, get the sphincter stretched, and then they put the gerbil up there. Quite why? Don't know. I mean, maybe they put a lady gerbil up there and make the gerbil go hunting for her. I don't know. It must be evidently cavernous. Yeah, Richard Gere, Chip. I mean, subsequently, I haven't finished the story yet, but subsequently, it's come out and gone, oh, no, yeah, I've heard those rumours. Stimulate the prostate. Oh, really, Kerry? You monkey tart. Kerry Hawkins, definitely. A couple of cherry pops for that. So, yeah, from Kate to animal sodomy. Whoa, look, it's entertainment, darling. It's 2024. These are the kind of stories. I mean, I saw how many voted for this. This is the kind of showbiz story. You'll be telling all your mates tomorrow, hey, you'll never guess what. That bloody Theatre of the Mind last night, the body of the Kirk, you'll never guess what he was talking about. Yeah. Brings a whole new meaning to Show Us Your Beaver. No, yeah, wasn't that Aeroplane? Priscilla Presley and Leslie Nielsen. Nice beaver. So... up they go, stick the gerbil up there. Gerbil has a run around, and then the gerbil wouldn't come out. So one of them goes, well, we've got to get it out. I did mention Richard Gere, Malia. I'm having to be very careful. But you get what I'm saying. So in it goes, wriggles. K. Webster. It wriggles up the back passage and massages the G-spot for the male species. You can say that, Kate. I can't possibly comment, but that's I'm really struggling not to laugh me cap off. Excuse me. So they stick the gerbil up there. As Percival says, this escalated quickly. I haven't even finished with Catherine yet. So it goes up there, prostate. I say, marvellous. But then they want to get the gerbil back out. But the gerbil doesn't want to come out. So the one guy says to the other guy, the gerbil won't come out. And he said, Stuart says, oh my Lord, I'm skipping breakfast tomorrow. And as Kaz says, it's a rat trap and you've been got. So the gerbil's up there doing whatever it's doing and it won't come out. And the one who's like bending over the sofa is going like, get hold of it, man. Just get hold of it. Just get it out. And the other guy's going, I can't see where it is. He said, well, have you not got a torch? He said, no, but I know what to do. Quick, pass the Battenberg. So he goes and gets a box of matches. So he goes and gets a box of matches. He comes back, and the one that's bending over the sofa is going, right, can you see him? Can you see him? Can you see him? And the guy's like, no, just wait. Lights the match and sticks the match near to see where the gerbil is. And obviously, it lights the noxious fumes. Propels the gerbil out of his derriere, smacks the guy with the match in the face and breaks his nose, and they have to go to A&E. And when they get to A&E, one's there with a broken nose, blood everywhere, and another one's got severe burns to his backside. And they had to explain to the A&E what they were doing with the gerbil. So ask the Pet Shop Boys where they got the name from. That's where they got the name from. California and gerbils. One of the best showbiz story I've ever heard. And as Kerry said, ring of fire. Johnny Cash again. Good grief. What WF is wrong with these people? I mean, it's like the first human being that saw a cow and saw the teats on the cow. I've gone from being grossed out to laughing me cap off, says Stuart. So who was the first human being that saw a cow and went, that cow's just been run over by a police car? Backdraft. That's so funny, Kate. But the first human being's gone, oh, you see that teat under there? I'm going to give that a pull, and whatever comes out that teat, I'm going to drink. I mean, would you? No. Anyway, do you mind if I get back to Catherine? We've lost a couple of people. I think they've they couldn't handle it. Anyway. So I want to know, let's look at a couple of facts. So the palace released a picture, a Photoshop picture of Catherine and the children, which had a kill notice on it. So why would the palace release that as an official photograph and give it to the press for the picture agencies to put a kill notice on it? That's the first question. The second question is this. Why hasn't anyone questioned the AI video? The palace. Tom, you too will believe a gerbil can fly. What about the one the other day under the tree? I'm going to get to that in a second. So the palace released a Photoshop picture that had a kill notice put on it. The palace told us in January that she was going into hospital for a planned operation. Wrong. They'd planned to go to Italy in January. They didn't plan the operation. They were planning to go to Italy. So there's one little untruth. Then there's the Photoshop photo untruth. Then there's the AI video untruth. What was the palace up to? Let me tell you. That's why I mentioned at the very beginning of this, the Online Safety Act. Because remember, they need something big enough to control you. So what would you say? And watch out for discussions about the cut of Catherine's dress. Thank you, TW. And possibly the deliberate positioning of Charlotte in front of her on the balcony. But this is what I want you to consider. And this is important. It's not a conspiracy. This is important. Keep your eye open for an up-and-coming BBC documentary about the disappearance of Nicola Bulley. It is coming soon. The promos are out there. It's all starting. It's in the newspapers. It's not to show us how good or bad the police were. It's not even to show us what lessons were learned by the police and the search units. It's part of a move to limit social media, particularly citizen journalists. And, like this channel, commentators. I'm going to ask you a question that you may not or may have the answer to. Is there a move afoot to attempt to bring in official certification and accreditation and consequently close down those providing counter narratives to what's going on? I mean, it all could be part of the BBC's factual side role. So that's why I mentioned at the very beginning of this, the Online Safety Act. It's not a bill that's going through Parliament. It's now law. So have the palace been part of some nefarious game where it's about controlling people and their counter narratives, people having freedom of speech, people being able to say what they think and think what they say? I agree, Alan. But citizen journalists, you've just mentioned one, Alan. And the commentators, people that would talk about. Now, as I mentioned Gary earlier, Gary had said, Adrian, you're better than this. Why don't we just move on from this? We've been, the book by Joe Boyd, The Road to Kill the Bill, explains it well. You're spot on, Adrian, as usual. Thank you, Kate. Are we in the middle of a game that we didn't know the rules to? But they did. They knew what they were doing. And do they put this law in place so that, say, a year or two, once Labour get in and the WEF want to shut us down, they've already got that law in place? And all they have to do is enact it. So Labour get in a month's time, possibly. And then in a year's time, they start to go, no, we've had a look at what was going on with Princess Catherine of Wales, and we believe that a lot of people got out of hand. It's getting out of hand. I have said to you previously that I believe that what will happen with YouTube is that people and social media, people will have to start using their real names, because that'll stop the trolling in one fell swoop, literally overnight. But I believe it's not a black swan event as such, but are they going to use this as leverage for the Online Safety Act that they're going to enact any point over the next year to 18 months? And people were with impunity saying, oh, she's dead, or this is going on, or that's going on. And for those who said, oh, you said this, Adrian, actually, you need to go and have a look at it, because I asked a question. I didn't give you a definitive statement. It might sound like it's the same thing to you, but asking a question is wholly different from. And some of the time when I was promulgating what was being said online, I was saying to you, here are some of the conspiracy theories, some of the theories that's being bandied about online. Facebook's Meta has just slammed restrictions on people going live because they want to get to a point where we have free speech, and they will find they're going to find every way to stop it. There's only X, really. And there's Elon Musk, was it $56 billion pay since 2018? Nice work. It's retirement money, that. So that is my take on what has been going on with Catherine, Princess of Wales. For me, she looked very well. There's no hair loss. And I felt that the family were happy, the kids were happy. Prince William, he's looking like a grumpy old tart nowadays, so who knows whether he was happy or not. But his derriere might have been a bit smashed in from riding that horse around the Trooping of the Colour. I want to get to a very, very, very... So that's my take. I believe that it's being used and it's going to be part of the Online Safety Act. And we will only see sort of a year to 18 months, possibly 2 years down the line, when they enact the law and use somebody as an example. Just remember where you heard it first. And I agree with you, Stuart. I wish Catherine a long and healthy life, as with all the royal family. In fact, any human being. Some of the things that are going on now, there's a couple of footballers who've died young. One 26-year-old goalkeeper, fit and healthy. I think that's going to become more and more prevalent. I want to let's get to the theme tune. We'll do that, and then I'm going to talk to you about and nobody else is telling you this. No one. Not a single, all these people who go, oh yeah, I'm a freedom fighter, yeah, I'll tell the truth, me. Oh, shove it up my hairy backside. You're not anywhere near this because you haven't got 2 IQ points to rub together. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about these other commentators who literally, is that the final score, Stuart? That'll do for me. Because they're just plastic. They're just plastic. They're just trying to, get clicks and likes and stuff. And as I've said to you before, I'm doing this because I'm in service of 2-1, brilliant chip. I'm in service of others because I watch stuff so you don't have to. Like watching the whole of the Trooping of the Colour yesterday. Oh, blimey. Could have jumped off my first floor balcony. Remember when Josh Howie sneered at people who questioned the jibber jabber with footballers? Yeah, I know. Yeah, 1-0. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll watch the highlights later. And thank you to everyone who's been here this evening, who decided to come and watch this live rather than watch the footy. I really do appreciate it. A couple of days ago, David Cameron appeared at a Ukraine recovery conference. And I just thought to myself, I think I mentioned it on Wednesday. That's a bit odd. Why would they have a recovery conference unless something's been decided? Like, peace had been decided. Now, we know that America was washing billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in Ukraine, washing it. And both Biden and Trump saying, oh, no, it's a loan. It's a loan. We're not giving them. No, it's not. It's aid, but it's a loan. And so we had the English parliamentarians there. Brilliant, Sandra. Thank you. Being muting the footy on telly while listening to you. Appreciate that, Sandra. Thank you. And we have this recovery conference going on, the Ukraine Reconstruction Recovery Conference. Now, you would only do that if the war was over, if there was a peace deal. Thank you, Viv. And then Vladimir Putin comes out. Not out, just out. Vladimir Putin offered peace talks to Ukraine. And I thought, hang on, we've just had the recovery conference with David Cameron, Trotter Cameron, and Rich Boy, I'll do a deal for Infosys. Oh, it's my wife's money, not mine. And then Zelensky made a speech, and I'm going to quote you from both. So, Vladimir Putin has said, Russia will immediately cease fire and begin negotiations to end the war in Ukraine in exchange for control of 4 frontline Ukrainian regions, a proposal immediately rejected by Kiev. The Russian president's conditions included areas Moscow has never occupied during its 2-year invasion or from which it subsequently withdrew, as well as a pledge for Ukraine to never join NATO. Putin also seeks the lifting of Western sanctions imposed in 2022 in response to his full-scale invasion. So we had that 2 days ago. And then Zelensky today, only hours ago. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it's important so that you get an understanding of exactly what is going on and why you are paying energy prices that you are paying, and you understand that you're having your eyes taken out by crooks, all of them. So Zelensky made a speech today about 4 or 5 hours ago. And he says, and I quote, Ukraine, obviously this is in English and he was speaking in Ukrainian, Ukraine is ready to begin negotiating with Russia even tomorrow if Moscow, and I quote, respects territorial integrity. And I quote further, whether she wants it herself or whether the world community forces her to do so is not important to us. The result is important to us, the end of this war. Now, as I've been telling you for the last 6 months, that the West was giving Ukraine just enough for it to not lose the war. They weren't giving Ukraine aid enough for them to win the war. Now, Zelensky has noted that Russia's presence at the next peace summit would signal its desire for peace and the end to the war. But how will this be solved? They've had billions of dollars, and the Americans want that to be paid back. What will Russia and Ukraine negotiate? Odessa? Basically, all the money that was pumped into Ukraine was for laundering. And what will Europe do? Cancel Russia's Netflix and Disney Channel subscriptions? We are on the precipice of peace negotiation between Russia and Ukraine. And I've told you many times, there is huge amounts of oil and gas under Crimea. That's what Russia wants. They want the oil and the gas deposits under the Black Sea. And that's why they want Ukraine to shuffle on and leave. It's that simple. It's not about the war. It's about the oil and gas deposits under Crimea and the Black Sea. But it looks like there is a possibility of peace in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine, and it's all down for negotiation. Putin, yesterday or the day before, this weekend certainly, has come out and said, we're happy to negotiate peace. Zelensky, hours ago, has said, we're happy to negotiate peace. So it looks like we are on the verge of peace in Ukraine and the east of Europe, and more importantly, the Black Sea. Remember where you heard it first? Because the mainstream media is not reporting it. They didn't report the recovery conference that Trotter Cameron was at the other day. Would their NATO joining still be on the cards? No. Russia has said it's one of the stipulations that Ukraine cannot join NATO. And it won't. It won't. It's about the oil and the gas. It's not about joining NATO. It's about the oil and the gas. It was all just a negotiating standpoint. A couple of quick things before we alight from the body of the Kirk this evening. One, I just want to tell you that I think Doctor Who's finished. It's awful. I thought it was awful when they had a woman as Doctor Who. But now, originally, the viewer base of Doctor Who was boys, white, heterosexual boys. And they are killing that. And I thought it couldn't get any worse. But I have to tell you, well done, BBC. Well done. You've killed one of your main money earners in America. You've ruined a beautiful thing. Shame on you. And the only thing that's been ever more scary than what you've done, the BBC, to Doctor Who, the Daleks. I used to hide behind our sofa. Be aware that the press may start to push Charlie 19 again. It's on the rise. The old ones are getting it and spreading it. And I can't work that out. Because we were told, if you get the jibber jabber, you can't spread it. If you get the jibber jabber, you won't catch it. So all the old ones have had the jibber jabber, and Charlie 19's on the rise again. Go figure. Who was lying? Oh, those conspiracy theorists, pesky conspiracy theorists. Darn it, they've got it right again. The words of the great Chinese philosopher. Fuck 'em. There's another thing that I'm not very happy about, but it's... You know how we think that the BBC... What God giveth with one hand, God taketh away with the other? There's the BBC. BBC. Oh, yes, let's ruin Doctor Who. It's shite. Thank you, chaps. And let's ruin Question Time, because it's full of bias. Political bias. Because the BBC hate anybody upsetting the status quo. They were for months and months and months when we voted the majority democracy to leave and go Brexit. Oh, the BBC, man, they were so unhappy that we, the pesky voters, had voted the wrong way. And now, this coming Thursday, they're getting some of the political heavyweights, and they're not letting Farage on Question Time. Oh, why is that? Yeah, I agree. They ruined Question Time as well. The BBC want us back into federal Europe. They don't want reform, upsetting the status quo, the political classes. No, 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 no. Can't have that. Well, let's look down a barrel of a gun, shall we, the BBC? Because most of the people that I speak to want the BBC defunded. Why do they want the BBC defunded? Because of these very games that they're playing. They're arses. BBC won't let Farage on. Against the Lib Dems, they're saying, oh, we'll have the top four parties on. Well, according to the polls at the moment, unless you're looking at polls from 20 years ago, the top four parties now include Reform. And the Lib Dems are barely hanging on by the skin of their teeth. But Ed Davey, remember, Ed Davey, Sir Alan Bates versus the Post Office, and Ed Davey, oh, no, yeah, I did offer to speak to him. Here, mate, Foxtrot Oscar. Had enough of you. Got a quick question for you. Bit of, thank you, Rich. A quick bit of entertainment to round it off, because we like to finish on a high, not a low. I asked you a little earlier to have a bit of think. What was or is your favourite TV tune? The best TV theme ever? Now, we've had a few votes because people love to get in early. UFO. Ooh, that was a TV tune and a half. Joe 90, agreed. It just stirs something in your soul, Joe 90. And the Sweeney, da-na-na. What the papers say. Blimey, the old Bovril. Grandstand, oh, yeah. Was that Grandstand with, what's his face? With a moustache. And it was always, when he did the intro, it was always Bruce Hornsby and the Range. That's the way it is. Mind the theme. Upstairs, downstairs. Who else was there? There was Rhubarb and Custard. Love it. What the papers say. How Wiedersehen, Pitt. Oh, how to win, shite, man. Des Lynam. Yeah. The guy that, he was a groundbreaker. He slept with a transgender female, didn't he? And it all came out. So, the Persuaders. Oh, Roger Moore, Tony Watches, and Zed Cars, Dukes of Hazzard, Clanard, Robin Hood. Oh, nice. Miss Marple, Midsummer Murders, and the... Well, let me give you my top. World in Action, another good one. Mind Your Language theme wasn't bad. Ooh. Riley, Ace of Spies, Van der Vogt, ding, 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 ding. Ski Sunday. Oh, gets that going. Ski Sunday, every time. You can run through walls to that. Because I can't ski. Saved my life. Star Trek, Thunderbirds, Mr. Ben and Rent a Ghost. How about my number one, Hill Street Blues? Have you forgotten that one? Hill Street Blues. Remember Starsky and Hutch? MASH, Coronation Street. Brilliant, says Wiggy. And how about the Rockford Files? Oh, Callan with a swinging light bulb. Ooh, and Taxi. Oh, and you can still get is it Dave Grubin? I know it was Mike Post who did Hill Street Blues, but there's other versions of it. Public Eye, Trumpton, Pew Pew, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Grub. Hell yeah, baby. And there was Magnum, The Streets of San Francisco. Oh, all from our youth. Signs of a misspent youth. So I would say my top three would be Hill Street Blues, Starsky and Hutch. Ooh, The Prisoner, very good. Bewitched was another good one. Oh, The Clangers, loving it, loving it, loving it, loving your work. And seeing as we in Hill Street Blues, can I just say there's also Mission Impossible. How about that one? The Q series, Captain Pugwash. Yeah, Roger the Captain Boy. Those were the days, Rev, the irreverent reverend. How about Doctor Who, the original? I mean, that was proper groundbreaking. There was Mission Impossible. I mean, there was also, is it a theme? Can we say this is a theme? Man from Uncle. I could show you my Man from Uncle badge, Alan, any day of the week. Well, you know what shape it is, don't you? Do I have to explain it? We're back to pegging again. Can we say Eric and Ernie's Bring Me Sunshine? Because it was like the end credits, wasn't it? It was still a theme as such. But Hill Street was my favourite for a couple of things. One, Betty Thomas. She was the blonde one. Hubba hubba. And my favourite TV actress, possibly of all time, apart from maybe Charlie's Angels, was, can you remember Veronica Hamill from Hill Street Blues? The dark-haired lawyer. I mean, Howard's Way, beautiful. Steptoe and Son, wonderful. Veronica Hamill was kind of the original test card. You're wrong. Even before Follyfoot Farm, wow. The Bill taxi theme, that was beautiful as well. But I'm going to round off with this story because I'm one of those people who loves a bit of a swally. I love a sherbet. But when I have a sherbet, I'm a happy drunk. I'm just silly and happy and laugh. And I went to a friend's house, and this is straight out of Hill Street Blues. Near to the end of the run, it ran 81 to 87. I think it was possibly about 85, 86, last couple of series. And they arrested somebody who all he wanted to do was just strip off. And Magic Roundabout, and he would this character in Hill Street Blues would strip off and then run about the police station shouting, "I'm buck naked." I don't know whether you can remember this. "I'm buck naked," and they would kind of go off and do the character stories and the story arcs within this particular episode or these particular episodes. But this one character would always get arrested, and he would always strip off and then run around the police station shouting, "I'm buck naked." Well, there was one time I was in a friend's house and I got absolutely bloated on homemade wine. I mean, proper, like my eyes crossed. I didn't know my name, didn't know where I was. And I started running around his house, taking my clothes off and chucking them around, shouting, "I'm buck naked." And they were like, "How much wine did you give him?" They said, "Oh, only a couple of glasses. It's rocket fuel. I know, but where's he got this "I'm buck naked" from?" Anyway, next thing they know, front doors open. I'm Stark running out around their close, shouting, "I'm buck naked. I'm buck naked." Anyway, all the curtain twitchers were like, "Yeah, what's going on out in the street? There's a man with no clothes on, running around shouting, 'I'm buck naked.' Should we call the police? Or should we wait half an hour and stop laughing?" Anyway, this was kind of summertime. And at the Christmas party for the close, there was only about half a dozen houses in the close. They managed to bundle me into the back of a car and get me home out of the place so I didn't get arrested. A-team, there was a thing. And all the neighbours, they had a bit of a Christmas party, and all the neighbours were coming up to my friend saying, "Here, did you know who that man was during the summer who was running around our close shouting, 'I'm buck naked'?" He went, "Oh, no, never seen him before in my life. So if anybody's in Nottingham and they know of a man that was running around shouting, 'I'm buck naked,' blame Hill Street Blues." So my name's Adrian Allen, and if the police want to know, I have no idea what you're talking about. No witnesses. Thank you, Rich, for your kindness as ever. Thank you for your likes. Go on, smash them before you wipe your feet on your way out. You're wrong. And leave the body of the Kirk in the way that you found it, clean and pristine. Make sure you've eaten all the Battenberg, drank all the wine. The prayer books are back in order. The toilets are in some kind of dear semblance. Hang on a second. I would love to have a few sniffers with you, Adrian. Cheers. Cheers, Kate. Anytime, so long as it's not the Leone wine. It's rocket fuel. And I end up naked, running about, being completely unnecessary. How I didn't get arrested, I'll never know. Oh, it was just hijinks. Please make sure that you subscribe. We've got a video coming in the morning. Make sure you subscribe for that. It's a bit of a scope insight. More coming tomorrow, of course. And the next live is Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most ever, thank you for your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. I'll see you for live on Wednesday. Videos coming. How are the lads? At least we started off with a winner. Night to all you wrong-uns. And whatever you do, if there's any left, don't forget the Battenberg.